that factor in here where we are running against the prospect of people losing their health care. And yes, that has some political gravity, obviously, and we saw that in 2018 again when they tried to eliminate the ACA. But the reality is that it hasn't happened yet. And so are there limits to how potent Democrats' attacks against Republicans could be just by basically highlighting a very real risk, but still a risk of something that could happen in the future, not something that people are actually contending with materially right now?
Well, I think you have to look ahead to the midterms, right? So midterms are November 2026, so there's plenty of time. If they do move up work requirements and they do pass this bill sometime in the summer, people are definitely going to feel the effects of losing Medicaid, losing food assistance by the time the election rolls around in the midterms. The other big healthcare issue that people aren't talking about enough is right now, Joe Biden and Democrats passed an expansion of subsidies for people who are getting their insurance from the Affordable Care Act. So right now, if you buy insurance on the exchanges, you get a little bit of help, but a lot of middle-class families get help to do this. And Republicans just do not want to extend those subsidies at all. So if they do that, those subsidies will end at the end of this year. And then there's been a bunch of people who only have health insurance on the exchanges because they had the extra help, and they're not going to have that help anymore.
Can you explain, from a political perspective, as far as Republicans are concerned, what is the upside of engaging in this fight, knowing how damaging it could be to them? I mean, if the roles were reversed, I feel like the last thing on earth we would do is go up against these earned benefits or take an axe to some of the most popular programs in America. And so what are the politics of this for Republicans?
You have a big chunk of the Republican conference who, they are, the reason they came to Congress was during the Tea Party era. And so what they dislike more than anything is government spending.
Yeah.
And especially, they are...
And their own constituents are survived.
Right. And well, then you have a section of the Republican Party, like the Josh Hawleys of the world, who are like, you know what? We actually do realize that most of our constituents are on Medicaid or benefit from the ACA subsidies, and so we don't want to touch those things. But a good chunk of the caucus is still Tea Party people.
Yeah. With that said, the Tea Party people obviously are ones to engage in all of this bad faith politicking, and we've not seen something as we've not seen outrage as manufactured as we're seeing right now as it relates to this whole James Comey thing. And so James Comey posts 86-47. 86 means to get rid of. James Comey, certainly not the first person in the world to want to get rid of Donald Trump as the 47th president. And so now they're engaging in this whole effort to pretend that James Comey is talking about assassinating Donald Trump. And Kash Patel announced that the FBI would be cooperating in any investigation that's carried out by the Secret Service. And so can I have your general reaction to, I feel like it's been a minute since we've been in a full manufactured outrage cycle, and yet that's exactly what we're in right now.
Well, first of all, I'd say I don't think anyone's excited when James Comey pops up into the public eye.
That's the funniest thing is they attack James Comey as if he's some...
he's not one of ours.
As if he's as if they've got one, as if they picked one off on the left.
So I think every time he pops up to tweet or post something, I always think it's a little kooky. I'm like, we don't need James Comey. But here's the thing. There was all this merch. You could still buy it that was 8646, which was Joe Biden's number.
Right.
Because they wanted to impeach Joe Biden. And so that was some of the very same MAGA influencers right now that are complaining about this actually posted 8646. 86 means, to get rid of. Originally, it was we don't have something on the menu anymore, so it's 86. We got it off the menu. The hysteria over this from the right is so fucking absurd. No one has done more in this country over the last decade to incite political violence than Donald fucking Trump and most of his supporters. He posted during the campaign a truck that on the back of the truck had a picture of Joe Biden bound and gagged in the back of a car.
Yeah. He posted
what are we talking about?
Of him holding a bat to Alvin Bragg.
And the difference now is, though, it's not just a hysteria online and on Fox and everything. Now you've got Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, saying that he should be arrested. Elise Stefanik said that he should be arrested. They want to investigate him now. I mean, fine. A judge is going to laugh this out of court if they ever get that far. And they're just, at this point, they are looking. This is the same thing with Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, when they arrested him. They are looking for reasons and excuses to arrest Democrats.
Right.
This is what they want to do because they want to send a message of fear and intimidation and tell people that you should be afraid of speaking out against this administration, because if you speak out against this administration, we could easily construe it into some kind of a threat against the president or a threat against Republicans, and then we'll arrest you.
I mean, this is like the first instance of the government truly tamping down on First Amendment free speech rights. Do you think that we've seen ways in which when Americans' like deeply ingrained rights are threatened, that there is a backlash to that? Do you think that this is going to have the desired effect, as far as the Trump administration is concerned, of chilling that kind of speech, chilling criticism against this administration, or the opposite, where people see this happening and they're like, "Fuck that," and push back even harder?
I think it's gonna have the opposite effect. Look, I don't think anyone's like going to the mat for James Comey, but I think, and if all this is just people making random threats about Comey, we're gonna arrest him. Look, if they actually move forward with this and like charge James Comey with something, I think most of the country's gonna look and be like, okay, did the former FBI director, who was an FBI agent, then led the agency, was his whole plan that I want to threaten Donald Trump? So what I'm going to do is walk on the beach, find this group of rocks, put it up, and then immediately take down the post. That's James Comey's plan to threaten the president of the United States?
Right.
Cool. Yeah, people are going to believe that.
With all the resources that a former FBI director, prosecutor might have, his
it was the shells on the
his
beach.
plan was
That
shells.
was the shells on the beach.
Yeah. Well, stupider than that is we now have an effort from a Republican congressman to ban porn. I'm sorry, a Republican senator. Who is it? It's
Mike Lee.
Mike Lee. That's right.
Yeah.
To ban porn. And so I'm just curious for you now, because I've spoken to Tommy about this, but for you, are you basically compiling everything you can before it goes away?
Well, some of my favorites, I'm making sure that they have them, and that they don't take them away. Like,
And which would those be?
Indiana Bones and the Temple of Poon. Also, I'm a real big fan of Mad Max Furry Load. Is another one that I want to make sure. Gladiator is a classic that I want to make sure they don't come after. I just want to say, when Tommy did these, he was looking at his screen. He's looking at his screen.
He was.
Right here.
And
right here.
I have to say that both times I've spoken about this, both with you and Tommy, and we'll throw real quick to clip from this moment with Tommy.
But it's probably time for you to toss out that Game of Bones DVD that you've been hanging on to.
Not my Game of Bones DVD.
Your Missionary Impossible Blu-ray. You're shaving Ryan's Privates VHS.
We have to. The viewers have to know that you had much more time to prepare while I was doing something else.
I didn't buy the Da Vinci Load. That was you. If you don't want J.D. Vance to one day take away your copy of Star Wars, you don't want to vote Republican. If you really want to watch Jurassic Pork over and over again, you should tell your friends about this. Honey, I blew everyone in theaters. Vote Democrat.
I have to say, in both of these instances, both of you had more time than I did to prepare any of this, and so I seem especially lacking in imagination here. But
Yeah.
I think between your and Tommy's collection, really, we'll have everything
We
covered.
we have quite a collection. I forgot Forrest Hump too, but anyway. Sorry.
I want to talk about the politics of this, though. Like when you have something that is so unpopular. I mean, we just talked about healthcare. I don't know what could be more unpopular in terms of taking away than healthcare, but maybe it's porn. Like that might be the only other thing, especially when you have a very tenuous tenuous new faction within your party, which is a majority of like young men. And so it would seem antithetical to your own goals to try and do things that would push them away. But what do you think about the politics of doing something like this? I mean, Mike Lee isn't just an ideologue. He's a politician. He knows that he has to, win elections himself. And yeah, he's going to have an easier time than somebody in a swing state. But like this stuff reflects on his own party too.
Yeah, absolutely terrible politics. And it's not going to go anywhere. I bet he doesn't get many sponsors. Because, look, there's a real question out there about age gating, right? Because as kids have easier access to technology at younger ages. Like, do we want all of our kids when they are 10, 11 years old, 9 years old to be able to go on a device with a screen and access porn? No, of course not. Then there's a question of like what the mechanism is to make sure that doesn't happen. But just listening to you and Tommy talk about this and reading up on